All right. So go ahead. We are on page 7 in our notebook. Let me zoom out a little bit. Page 7. Today is the 28th. And you can tell this order of operations. I'll give you a few minutes so you can also write it in your table of contents if you like. But right now, I'll go ahead and title that order of operations. Now again, while I do instruction, if you got a question, you can type it in the chat. You know, Mr. Todd or I might answer it. If you want to click the raise your hand feature, you can do that. If you want to wait and talk and ask a question, you can do that also. Remember, if you don't have a notebook with you, get out a blank piece of paper. Okay, get organized. Find out a method to how to help yourself out. Okay, I want you to be successful. If you don't have a notebook still, please try to get one this weekend. Try to stay organized in that way. A few more seconds and then we're going to start. Because I see some of us still kind of setting up for the day. So just a few more seconds and then we'll get started. As another reminder, I will post our notes after class. I'll post a video of our notes during class also. So kind of keep in mind if you need any of these resources, it'll be there. Okay. Sorry if y'all can hear cleaning. Okay, people are cleaning outside my room. So sorry if y'all can hear that. I'm going to try and talk and be louder than that. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at order of operations. We're going to do a little activity before we actually start learning about our order of operations. So we're going to explore. I'm going to do 4 questions for exploring. So I'm going to write down 4 questions, and I'm going to tell you when, and you're going to go ahead and solve those 4 questions. The first question is 3 times 5 plus 6. 3 times 5 plus 6. I'm going to skip a line so we have enough space. I'm going to do 4 questions for you to explore. The second question is 6 plus 4 times 5. 6 plus 4 times 5. Number 3, 5 times 5 times, parentheses, 6 divided by 3. And our last one, 4 plus, parentheses, 7 plus 9, parentheses, divided by 2. Okay, so those are going to be our 4 questions, and you're going to do it first by yourself, and then I'm going to kind of work it out with you to see what we get for our answer. So you're going to do it one time on your own. Put your answer, write down your answer there. I'll give you some time to work each of those out. However you want to solve it, whichever way you think is correct. I'm not going to tell you how to solve it. Solve it whichever way you think is correct. And here we're going to put the correct answer. Okay. So I'm going to let everyone get started. I'm going to give us, let's take about 4 minutes. Okay. It's about a minute for every question. Some of them you may not need 4 minutes. Okay. So you see my timer? Is there, I need no seconds. Okay. See my timer? I'm going to give you about 4 minutes. Okay. If you have a question you want to ask me, use the raise your hand feature and I'll call your name. And you can kind of share that. But go ahead and solve these 4 questions. Write your answer. Don't do the correct answer spot. We'll talk about that. All right. Uzu, question. What's up?
Do brackets for this one? Like brackets?
So those are brackets. Parentheses, brackets, they both mean the same thing. Okay. All right, guys, take about 4 minutes, and then we're going to review. Again, quiet thinking music. I'll mute myself so you don't hear any background noise. Just about 2.5 minutes, guys. 2.5 minutes. All right, about 1 more minute, guys. 1 more minute. All right, take 30 seconds. Get as far as you can, guys. Take 30 seconds. To kind of help us move on, when you're ready, click on the chat button and just wait, because we're going to use the chat for the next part of the activity. Alrighty, we are ready. You can kind of hear my alarm. We're ready to go ahead and review. Now go ahead and open up your chat feature. What we're going to do is we're going to share the answers that we got. Now don't do it yet. Just wait. Because I want you to see maybe people got different answers. Maybe people got the same answer. Right? And I'm going to let you know right now, it's okay if you got a different answer. And it's okay if we get a lot of different answers. Right? But we're going to share that on our paper. Alright, so what I want you to do in the chat, go ahead and write down your answer for number 1. What did you get for 3 times 5 plus 6? Write down your answer. Tell me what you get. 3 times 5 plus 6. So I got a few people saying this. Okay? And don't panic if it starts lagging or anything like that. Okay? Because a lot of people typing in the chat, sometimes it slows it down a little bit. Okay, I see a lot of people got similar answers. Awesome. Make sure you share, right? Because this is something that I'm going to go back and look to see, oh, did they participate? Were they here? Things like that. Okay, awesome. So almost everyone said 21. Okay, cool. Fine with me. Let's look at number 2. Go ahead and type in the chat. What did you get for 6 plus 4 times 5? 6 plus 4 times 5. What did you get for your answer? If you got something different, you can go ahead and write that also. No problem. Okay, cool. So I got 2 answers so far. I got 26 and 50. Anything else? Go ahead and, again, keep typing in the chat what you think it may be. Okay? So I got a little bit of both, right? I got a little bit of people saying 26, a couple of saying 50. Okay, cool. Very awesome. Alrighty. Let's do the next question. Let's do number 3. What did you get for your answer for 5 times, parentheses, 6 divided by 3? Go ahead and type in your answer, and we can see. Alright, we got 10 over there. Okay, so almost everyone kind of put 10. Okay, that's cool. No worries. We can do 10. No, I have no issue with that. Okay, now let's do the last one. What did y'all get for the last one, number 4? 4 plus 7, or in parentheses, 7 plus 9, close parentheses, divided by 2. Okay, what did y'all get for the very last one? Okay, I see a couple people say 12. Some people said 10. Okay. Go ahead and share, right? Put what you think. I got more people saying 12, more people saying 10. Okay. So notice some of us got different answers, right? It's kind of weird, right? Because we all got the same question, but then we got different answers. How does that happen, right? And it's kind of about our thought process and how we solve it and what we think about the question. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what the correct answers are. I'm going to show you a calculator, okay, and we use this calculator. It's in your resources, okay, so you can use that there. But a couple things about using a calculator. Now, yes, there's a calculator that can get you these answers, but you need to know how to do this by hand because that process is what we're going to use the whole school year. You're going to hear me say, oh, follow order of operations. Hey, go backwards in order of operations. So you're going to hear me say that a lot. So if you want to make sure you're on the right page, definitely make sure you do that. So let's look at the correct answers. I'm going to show you with my calculator what that's going to look like. Okay? So I'm going to type it in, and then we're going to see what it gets you. Now, this 4-function calculator is in our course resources folder. So let's do the first one, for example. Let's say I did... Okay. Let's say we did 3 times 5 plus 6. 3 times 5 plus 6. The correct answer is 21. So write that, if you look on, well, I'm going to write that on my paper, but the correct answer should be 21. So write that down. 21 is the correct answer. All right, let's do the next one. If I type in 6 plus 4 times 5. Now, this is the one we had some debate about. Let's look. It says the correct answer is 26. Okay, so write down that the correct answer is 26. Now, I know some of you might be saying, Mr. Daniel, how on earth is it 26? Right? I didn't get 26. We'll talk about it. Okay, give me a minute. We'll talk about it. Let's look at number 3. Number 3, we only had really one answer, but let's see just to check if we did the right process. 5 times, parentheses, 6 divided by 3, close parentheses. We get 10. Okay, so that works, right? We get 10. And lastly, number 4, it's all I'm going to type out. 4 plus, parentheses, 7 plus 9, parentheses, divided by 2. Notice we get 12. We don't get 10. We get 12. Okay? And you can kind of see that from my screen. I'm going to share back my notes. Right? But we notice we get 4 solid answers. The calculator never says, oh, it could be this or that. Right? It never says that. Right? It says that it's only one answer. So that's something we want to make sure that we're keeping track of or something that we see. So let's continue to look at that. Okay? So I'm going to bring back my notebook. Bum, bada, bum. All right. So these are my correct answers, 21, 26, 10, and 12. So some of you might be thinking, Mr. Daniel, how did you get that? How did you know how to solve that and get that answer? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we use something called order of operations. Some of you might already know what order of operations is, but the reason we use an order, a specific order, is because look at it, guys. We have questions where some of y'all got 2 different answers, okay? Now, this means that we want to follow all the same process and get the same answer. So we want to make sure that we are solving it the same correct way. So we call it order of operations. So you might hear it as PEMDAS. You might hear some other cutesy name. If you're from outside of the U.S., BOMDAS or GEMDAS, they all mean the same thing. So let's write this out. PEMDAS stands for parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, or subtract. So let's write the first one, parentheses. Now, if you don't have a colored marker or pencil, that is okay, guys. You don't need one. But I want you to at least underline that first letter so you know that's what we're using our acronym for. I'll try and zoom in a little bit so it's a little bit more legible. So parentheses. And parentheses are kind of like these little, parentheses. I don't know any other word for that. Sometimes you might also see it kind of like a square parentheses. Those are called brackets. So both of those are different types of parentheses. As y'all write, a couple things to know. If you ever need a copy of my notes, it's in Schoology. So I'll show you where that is today. But if you ever need a copy of my notes, let's say your handwriting is just messy, but you tried, you can always get my notes. But make sure you try to take the notes with us in class before that. All right, so we got parentheses first. After that, we do our exponents. So our exponents, if you remember what we did on Monday, Tuesday, this is this tiny little number at the top. That's what an exponent is. Now remember, exponents, that 12 to the power 4 doesn't mean 12 times 4. It means 12 times 12 times 12 times 12, 4 times. So you want to make sure that you see that. Okay? It's not 12 times 4. It's 12 times 12 times 12 times 12, 4 different times. Okay. I'm kind of pacing how I'm going by looking at your faces. So if I can see you writing, I tend to slow down. But if it looks like we're good and ready to go, I'm going to keep going. So another, reason 156 why you need to have your camera on. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. Now next one is an either or. Okay. We do whatever comes first. We either multiply or do multiplication. Or division. Now the reason I say multiplication or division is because we do whatever comes first in the problem. So it's not do multiplication first, then division. No. That's why I use the word or. We multiply or divide, and we follow that from left to right. And we do whatever comes first. Oh, sorry. Cut off a little bit. We multiply or divide left to right, and we do whatever comes first. Okay? So if division shows up first, do division first. If multiplication shows up first, do multiplication first. Okay? Some of you already know this, like I said. Some of you might have talked about it last year, but if you didn't, that's why we're going over it this year. Okay, making sure we have that. All right, Isaac, you got a question for us? You can unmute your mic and ask.
Yeah. What if it? Because last year my teacher told me that if one of the problems have a bracket beside it, like surrounding it, she said that we should do that one first if it has it.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
what if it doesn't have it? Then we just start a recurring one?
So I'm going to show you how we do it, right? It's kind of like a checklist. We go in order, check for parentheses, check for exponents, check for multiplying or dividing, and we just go on that list. Okay, Isaac, so I'll do a few examples also. All right, good question, though. All right, so let's keep going. The next one is addition or subtraction, and that's also, again, left to right, whatever comes first. Now for addition or subtraction, again, that's after we do all our multiplying or dividing problems. Or subtraction. Addition or subtraction. And we're going to repeat the same exact thing right here. So if you want to draw like a ditto mark or whatever you want, whatever works, we do left to right. And same rules, do whatever comes first. So you do whatever comes first. So kind of echoing what Isaac said, we're going to do a few examples. I'm going to show you examples with parentheses, without parentheses to kind of help you out. And if you want to think about the space on your notebook, I will do 4 questions. I'll let you do 2 questions, and then we're going to do our exit ticket. Okay, so let me say it again. Make sure you kind of have space for 4 questions, and then you have space for 2 more questions after that. So 6 questions altogether. All right. And if you want, if you need, again, if you have to use another page, keep it page 7. We're not going to page 8 today. So keep it as page 7, and then we'll kind of move forward with it. All right. Looking around, it looks like we're live. We're good. Okay. Again, if you're getting frustrated, it's okay, guys. If it's going too fast, again, the notes will be on Schoology. The video will be on Schoology, so you don't have to worry about that. All right. KJ, got a question? What's up? Okay, if you need to, KJ, you can use the back, but keep the page number as 7, okay? Great. All right, so let's do the first example, okay? So again, I'm always going to follow PEMDAS, my order of operations, okay? So I'm going to do the first example. I'm going to kind of work my way horizontally. So question 1. My first question is 3 plus 2 times 7. Now, here's the thing. If you do whatever order you want, okay, if I just said 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 times 7 is 35, that's not the right answer, okay? We have to follow order of operations. Everyone around the world follows this order because we want to do that especially to make sure that we all get the same answer. Now, every single time this works for me, and I'm going to tell you to do it also, I write down the letters PEMDAS. Just like that. And if I were you, write it down every single time. Because you use it kind of like a checklist. If we were in class, usually when I give you a worksheet, I type it there for you so you don't have to write it every time. But you definitely want to make sure that you see that there to kind of help you out. So let's look at it. I want to do a coordinate order of operations. So I'm going to show you how to walk through it. So kind of look at how I do the first few questions. Because that's how you're going to solve it, especially when you get your exit ticket today and our practice problems on your own. Let's look for let's look for parentheses. So I take my pencil, pen, whatever. We start from the left and move to the right. It's like how we read a sentence in class. So if I start at the left and move to the right, I don't see any parentheses. So I checked, no parentheses. I put a little check mark there. That tells me that yes, I checked it. We're good to go. I did all the parentheses. There's none there. So let's check one more time. Next one is exponents. Take your pen or pencil, start from the left, work your way to the right. I don't see any exponents. Nope, so we're good to go. Okay. We're going to do the same thing. Take your pen or pencil, move left to right. Is there any multiplying or dividing? Yes. And I see a multiplication problem here. So the way that I keep organized is I'll underline, or you can highlight, color code, whatever you want. Highlight, underline, do whatever so you know what you're working on first. So I know I'm doing 2 times 7 next. So 2 times 7 gets me 14. Then we got to bring down the rest of our problem. So I bring down the 3 plus 14. I look again, is there any more multiplying or dividing? No, there's not. Is there adding or subtracting? Yes, there is. So I do my adding and subtracting. And for this question, we get 17 as our answer. Okay, use the raise your hand feature. Any questions, guys, before we move on? Something not makes sense to us. Okay, this is where you ask your question. You raise your hand. Let me know. Questions? Okay, great. We're going to keep moving then, okay? So we got 4 more questions together. Then we give you 2 to do on your own. Number 2. Number 2, we are going to do 17 minus 18 divided by 3 times 2. 17 minus 18 divided by 3 times 2. Now I'm going to write PEMDAS again to the side, guys. Okay, again, if I were you, do that. As soon as you write that down, then your mind can get a better chance of getting it done correctly. Okay, so you want to make sure you're doing it correctly, following those steps. So, first step is parentheses. If I take my pencil and look left to right, nope, I don't see any parentheses. So I check it off, that's done. Let's look for exponents. Take my pencil, move left to right. Do I see any exponents? No. No exponents. I did that step. Take my pencil, let's move left to right. Do we see any multiplying or dividing? Yes. Okay, we do. Now let me ask someone. Let me hear from Sayona. Sayona, go ahead and unmute your mic. What is going to come up first when I move my pencil left to right? Do I see division first or multiplication first? Division. So because I see division first, I have to do that first. That's what it means to do left to right. Okay? If division comes first, do division. If multiplication comes first, do multiplication. So let's write everything out. 18 divided by 3 is 6. And then bring down the times 2. Notice I always bring down everything I don't use in one step. Now let's double check and make sure to see if I'm done with multiplying and dividing. So I take my pencil, move left to right. Am I done with multiplying and dividing? No. There's still one more thing I need to do. So I go ahead and do 6 times 2, which is 12. Now I'm going to tell you, some of y'all are going to say, Mr. Jalen, it's too easy. You're wasting too much paper. I can do 4 steps at one time. You can, and make mistakes most of the time. Okay, I'm telling you, that's the number one mistake I see people trying to do. They try to do 2 or 3 steps, and they mess up. Now I'm done with multiplying and dividing. Only thing left is to subtract. 17 minus 12 will get us 5. There's no more adding, subtracting, so I'm done with my problem. Okay? Again, use the raise your hand feature if you have a question. So if you're looking at this and saying, Mr. Daniel, so don't just say, I don't get it, right? If you ever have a question, be specific. Say, Mr. Daniel, how come you moved the 2 here? Mr. Daniel, where did you get 6 from? Mr. Daniel, where did you get 5 from? That's how you ask a question. Don't just say, oh, I don't get it. Doesn't make sense. No, okay? Tell me where I'm losing you if you have a question. Same thing with, Mr. Todd. When y'all go, some of y'all that go in groups with Mr. Todd or into one of those channels, same thing. Don't just tell Mr. Todd, hey, I don't get it, right? Ask a specific question. Okay. All right. So let's do number 3. number 3. We're going to do 6 parentheses 5 plus 2 squared. 6 parentheses 5 plus 2 squared. And again, I'm going to write PEMDAS because, again, I've been teaching math longer than you've been in 6th grade. Okay, so definitely you want to make sure that you follow these steps because they help you out. Okay, do it for this week. Do it for the next 3 days we do order of operations. Then if you want to do something like on your test, that's fine. But when you do homework, your asynchronous exit ticket, use the way and method that I show you. So let's look at this. I see 6 parentheses 5 plus 2 squared. So it's 6 right next to a parentheses. This means to multiply. So for example, 6 parentheses 5 plus 2 squared is the same thing as 6 times parentheses 5 plus 2 squared. They both mean the same thing. This is just saying like 6 groups of 5 plus 2 squared. So however you want to think about it, that's there. Yeah.
Why do we have to multiply the 6?
Okay, so again, this means like 6 groups of 5 plus 2 squared. Okay, so that's just like if I said, oh, 6 groups of smiley faces, right? So I want 6 times the number of smiley faces, right? That's another way to think about it. Okay, if you need to, if it's too confusing without a multiplication symbol, you can write your own multiplication symbol. But I won't put it there. Like on an assignment, I won't write down the multiplication symbol there. So Isaac, if you want, you could also write it there too.
Okay.
All right, so let's go through it. Parentheses, yes, we got a set of parentheses here. But notice we got a lot going on in that parentheses. We have adding and an exponent. Anytime you get more than one operation inside your parentheses, follow order of operations. So for example, I have an exponent and addition. If I look at order of operations, exponents comes first. So I am going to solve this exponent first. So 6 parentheses 5 plus 2 to the power of 2 means 2 times itself 2 times. So 2 times 2, which gets me 4. Then we check, am I done with all of my parentheses? No. So I need to go ahead and finish it, and the only thing left is to add. 5 plus 4 will get me 9. You can keep the parentheses there, or you can write it as multiplying, up to you. So now I'm done with the parentheses. If I look here, do I see any exponents? No. Now, yes, I do have parentheses, but there's no operations inside of the parentheses. 6 times 9 is what's going on. Do I have multiplying or dividing? Yes, we do. 6 times 9 will get me 54. Great job. There's no adding or subtracting, so I just put a check mark there. We're good to go. Okay. Questions? Okay. Questions.
Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Why did you add the 2 plus 2?
So remember 2 to the power of 2, right? 2 to the power of 2 means 2 multiplied by itself 2 times. So I didn't do 2 plus 2. It's 2 times 2. So that's how I got the 4. Okay? All right. I'm going to do one more question, and then I'm going to let you practice 2 of them by yourself. Then we'll do our exit ticket. All right, number 4. Okay, go ahead and mute your mic. Okay, Isaac, I don't know if that's you or who else. Just make sure you mute your mic. Thank you. All right. So number 4. I have 8 minus 4 over 2. Now, 4 over 2 just means division, right? So 4 over 2 means the same thing as 4 divided by 2. So just in case you're wondering, it's another way to write division. Fractions kind of represent division, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so we want to do PEMDAS. There's no parentheses. No exponents. Is there multiplying or dividing? Yes. 4 divided by 2 will get me 2. There's no more multiplying or dividing. So now I will have adding and subtracting. 8 minus 2 will get me 6. And that's all we got. Questions? Okay. I'm going to write down two questions for you, okay? I'm going to give you about 4 minutes to solve those, and then we're going to do our exit ticket, okay? So number 5, I want you to do by yourself. 4 plus 3 to the power of 3. I'm going to tell you right now, don't say that's 9. 3 to the power of 3 is not equal to 9. So I'm going to say that again. Make sure you go back and look at your notes from yesterday if you need to. Then the last one, 8 times 4 minus parentheses 2 plus 8 parentheses divide by 2. Again, write down PEMDAS. Okay? Take about 4 minutes for those two questions, then we'll review. Take about 4 minutes. Use your notes. Look at our examples. Try it by yourself before we have to do anything else. Okay? Take that time and then we'll review.